Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 8 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind philosophy to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to talk about the topic of shame, especially resistance to shame. Have you ever heard the phrase, "You should be ashamed"? Shame on you. Have you no shame? The implication of all of that is somehow shame is supposed to help us, I don't know, do better, learn something, access the better part of who we are. But for those of you who follow my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know that's really not the case. And that's because of how the brain processes information. So we got 3 parts of the brain basically. Lower brain's called the brainstem. That's where our fight or flight responses are located. Upper 80% of the brain's called the neocortex. I call this the top of the mind. This is where our best qualities, characteristics, interpersonal skills reside. This middle brain's the limbic system. It is the scanner, processor, router part of the brain. It's the part of the brain that interprets data or thoughts and either routes it down to the lower brain or up to the top of the mind. Unfortunately, this middle brain isn't very smart, and it's working with old software. Because for a while in the past in our evolution, being worried or anxious or stressed or on guard or even angry, maybe even ashamed, may have kept us alive. But now all it does is it throws us into this lower brain where we get stressed, anxious, frustrated, annoyed, resentful, depressed, and chemical reactions that screw with our blood pressure, heart rate. All of that doesn't help us learn from life. It doesn't help us access our best. Now, it's important to recognize if you're one of these folks that find themselves feeling shame or its cousin, fear of failure, the need to please others, this fear that we're not enough, all that stuff, we were not born that way. Okay, we were not laying in our bassinet going, "Oh man, I just shit in my pants. I'm a terrible baby. I'm so ashamed. Nobody will ever love me." We didn't, it was just something we learned. And hey, we may have learned it from well-meaning people who thought they were helping us feel bad in order to do good. But do you see how that really doesn't work? And now, because we understand how the brain works, we know why. Feeling bad throws us into the lower brain where we do not have access to our interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills. And even if we try to use shame as a way of learning from some past mistake, we have to hang on to the shame in order to hang on to the learning. So it's almost like we have to go to the lower brain in order to get to the upper brain. It's a very circuitous route. It's not the most effective strategy. So what I suggest we do is develop a resistance to shame, or as Brené Brown talks about in many of her wonderful books, shame resilience. If you're one of these folks that find yourself feeling shamed or fear of failure or that you're not enough or guilty or those kind of feelings that get in the way of your clarity, confidence, and creativity, just recognize, okay, well, that's not who I am when I'm coming from the best of who I am. So then the question is, okay, then who are you when you're coming from the best of who you are? I think that's really important because it's not about just not feeling shame or worrying about shame or fear or anxiety and trying to use our worry in order to stop doing it. Because now we're thinking about what we don't want to think about. Instead, what I suggest people do is make a list of 20 qualities or characteristics of you at your best. Now, these aren't skills, these are qualities, characteristics. Great sense of humor, passionate, compassionate, good listener, whatever it is, just make that list. And if you're having trouble coming up with 20, ask your friends, ask your family, ask the people who love you, and come up with that list. And I would encourage you to read that list at least 3 times a day for a while, because what you want to do is begin to retrain this middle brain to see your worth and value not on what you do, but who you are. A lot of times we've been raised to believe that getting a certain grade or getting into the right school or getting a job or getting a certain house or home or getting married or whatever somehow speaks to our worth and our value. And we don't really feel worthy or valuable or lovable until we accomplish something or until we get that affirmation from an external source. Affirmation's great. It's always wonderful to be loved, but we don't want that to be something we're dependent on because we don't know whether or not we're going to get it or not. Somebody may be having a bad day that has nothing to do with us. Instead, we want to be able to come from the best of who we are, bring qualities or characteristics that are the best of who we are to our life, to our relationship, our job, our family, our whatever we do, because that allows us then to bring our best to the situation. And I bet ashamed is not going to be on your list of qualities or characteristics that you want to bring to life. Now, It is important to recognize that when we have learned something as children, as we've grown up, we've created some old neural pathways that will continue to be triggered. So it's not about never feeling bad or never feeling shame or never feeling guilt or anxiety or that, but not trusting it. If we recognize, okay, wait a minute, this is just my middle brain thinking I need to be ashamed or worried or anxious in order to be safe. Now I know that just throws me into the lower brain, which makes it worse. I'm going to access the best of who I am and bring that to life, and that's going to help me create the life I want. This is what I get to do, by the way. This is what I get to go around the world teaching my life from the top of the mind philosophy to organizations, groups, churches, individuals. If it's something you would like me to do for your organization, all you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, or just Google Bill Crawford PhD. I'll come up on the first page. Hit the contact button. Let me know what you're interested in, and I'd love to talk with you about that. In the meantime, if you're liking these videos, please hit the like button, share it with your friends if you feel they would be valuable. Pinterest and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and iTunes, all love it when you like it. So feel free to do that. I try to post one of these every week, so I hope you're finding them valuable. So until next time, here's to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, creativity, a top of the mind perspective to everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the future.